Canada stands at the crossroads of history. Today, as the nation braces for Finance Minister François-Philippe Champagne's first budget under Prime Minister Mark Carney, there's an uneasy tension rippling through Ottawa, a feeling that this could either rebuild the Canadian dream, or shatter it entirely. For weeks, the whispers have been growing louder, from Bay Street boardrooms to small-town diners in Alberta, that Carney's bold economic gamble could reshape the entire financial landscape of Canada. Some call it visionary. Others call it dangerous. Carney, the former Bank of England governor turned Prime Minister, has staked his reputation on one simple promise: to transform Canada from a nation of reliance to resilience. He's called this budget the blueprint of a new century. But behind closed doors, sources tell us the stakes are far higher than anyone dares admit. As dawn breaks over Ottawa, the mood in Parliament Hill is electric and tense. Finance Minister Champagne, shoes freshly polished for the traditional pre-budget photo op, tells reporters this will be a generational investment. Yet insiders say he's been warning cabinet colleagues privately, if this doesn't work, the Liberals won't survive the year. The numbers are already controversial. The expected deficit, once promised to stay below $42 billion, could explode to nearly $100 billion. Carney insists this is the price of transformation. But fiscal hawks warn, it's the price of collapse. Whispers from senior aides describe two versions of the budget draft circulating last week, one focused on innovation and energy transition, and another far more secretive version, nicknamed Plan R. According to a leaked memo, Plan R includes emergency measures that could restructure entire sectors, merging failing industries under federal supervision. Officials deny its existence. But when asked, Champagne simply said, "Canadians will see our commitment to resilience." What did he mean by that? No one seems to know. Meanwhile, the United States looms large over every decision. President Donald Trump's latest tariffs on Canadian steel and autos have already wiped out thousands of jobs across Ontario and Quebec. Negotiations for tariff relief have frozen completely after Trump reportedly stormed out of a call with Carney 2 weeks ago, accusing Canada of currency manipulation. The White House refuses to confirm the outburst, but a senior source in Washington hinted that Canada should prepare for a response. That response, some economists fear, could come in the form of new penalties on Canadian natural gas exports, a devastating blow to Alberta and British Columbia. And so, part of Carney's new budget is said to include a $5 billion strategic response fund, to shield industries from what officials call economic aggression. Critics say it's just a slush fund for political allies. Supporters say it's the firewall Canada desperately needs. Yet it's not just about defense or tariffs. Carney's government is also making enormous bets on energy and housing, two sectors already on the brink. There's talk of $2 billion for small nuclear reactors at Darlington, and another $13 billion for the new Build Canada Homes Agency. But the most controversial line item is one that wasn't supposed to exist at all. An unverified $3 billion energy sovereignty fund buried deep in the draft appendix. No one knows where the money is coming from, or where it's going. When a reporter pressed Champagne about the fund, he smiled and said, "Canada will soon stand on its own 2 feet." That cryptic line set off a storm online, with speculation ranging from a new oil pipeline partnership with Asia, to a secret deal with a Gulf nation to stabilize Canada's energy reserves. The Prime Minister's office refused to comment. The opposition parties, meanwhile, smell blood. The Conservatives say Carney's spending spree will drown the next generation in debt. The Bloc demands more spending for Quebec seniors and healthcare. And the NDP calls it an austerity budget dressed in green slogans. Behind the scenes, insiders say the Liberals are 2 votes short of passing the budget. If they fail, the government falls, triggering an election that could arrive before Christmas. Sources within the Liberal caucus tell us Carney is ready for that outcome. He's confident, one MP said. Almost too confident. And when asked if the Prime Minister would risk an election over this budget, the source replied, He already has. But here's where things get strange. Late Monday night, hours before the budget release, unusual activity was detected in several Bay Street trading firms. Currency futures on the Canadian dollar suddenly spiked, then crashed, within minutes. A mysterious brief from the Bank of Canada warned of foreign interference in pre-budget data systems. Neither the government nor the central bank will say more, but some analysts believe confidential sections of the budget may have been leaked, possibly to U.S. hedge funds. Was it sabotage? Or strategy? A senior economist close to the government hinted that certain volatility was expected. Expected? Or engineered? Meanwhile, Prime Minister Carney himself appears undeterred. After a 9-day trip through Asia to open new markets, he told reporters, "We have the resources to transform our economy. The world is watching how Canada defines its next century." But his tone was unusually sharp when asked about Trump's trade policies. "Some allies build walls," Carney said. "We'll build capacity." Within hours, the White House issued a brief statement saying, the U.S. will protect its workers from foreign manipulation, wherever it comes from. The tension between Ottawa and Washington has never been higher. Still, despite the chaos, optimism lingers. Supporters see Carney's plan as bold, even heroic, a once-in-a-generation chance to turn Canada into an energy and innovation superpower. He's promised to funnel public dollars into green manufacturing, quantum computing, and AI research. Insiders say he's courting partnerships with Tesla Canada, Bombardier, and even the restructured SNC-Lavalin to create a new industrial corridor. But critics warn that the pace of spending, and the secrecy around some projects, mirrors the early signs of fiscal collapse seen in the UK during Carney's Bank of England days. Coincidence, or a pattern? One thing is clear, this is not a normal budget. This is a make-or-break moment for the Carney government, and for Canada itself. If the budget passes, it could unleash unprecedented growth and reshape the nation's global standing. If it fails, it could trigger an election, an economic downturn, and a political storm that will shake the foundations of Parliament Hill. As night falls over the capital, the question hanging in the air is simple, and chilling. Is this the dawn of a new Canadian century, or the beginning of its greatest financial disaster? Soon, we'll know the answer. But, one truth remains, Canada is on edge.